Hi, everybody. And thank you to all, how many? 49 of you. Make it 50. Make it, thank you to all 50 of you for stopping by before the beginning of the stream. As you know, most people stop by after it begins, so I do appreciate it. If you stop by, let's see, here's Ben Everhart. Yo, he's 3 minutes late. I know. But I'm here now, and I hope that counts. I hope that negates the time I had to make you wait. This is the first live stream on this channel this year, so Happy New Year. I wonder how many of you were here for the last stream of last year. Not that I have anything to say about it. I'm just curious. How many of you were here for the last stream of 2019? Let's see. And then Ben said hello. Hello, but you were the first one to say hello. Hello, Violent Tomato. Hi, Mikat. Oh boy. Mikado. Hi to Alice. Hi to Morocco's here. Glad you made it. Outstanding. Random dude says he just doesn't want to die, don't we all? Ben, yep, I did say your name. I said it twice, that makes 3 times, actually. Hello, Dean. Hey, I don't get jokes. Well, in case you're curious, this stream isn't about anything in particular. I give the floor to you. We can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. The reason why I called this stream How's 2020 Been So Far was because there's really no particular topic of that. Usually these streams do have a topic, but this one doesn't. And it's a little appropriate given that it's the beginning of the year. Why not just do a brief, haphazard recap of this year, which is not even 2 weeks old. Let's see. Justin Bell. I have never watched your streams before. Well, welcome, Justin. Welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself. There's always somebody here who's never tuned into these before. And there's always someone who never knew that there were live streams before. I guess they're just not promoted that well. In fact, I know they're not promoted that well. Welcome, Justin. Dragon Girl. Simon Bolafruit. Timo? Austin says hello from the sky. You being funny, or are you on an airplane? First of all, how have you guys been? And second of all, what would you like to talk about? 2020 has already proven to be an eventful year, for better and worse. I hope I would like to keep a balance between the good and the bad, but it's been a pretty... It's not been an outstanding year so far. World War III nearly started. Australia's burning down. Neil Peart, the drummer of Rush, died of brain cancer. There's always good news, but it's been quite a bit of bad news so far. Somebody whose name I can't pronounce, Mambokanda, I guess I can't pronounce it, says I sound perfect. Well, that's not true, but thank you for saying that all the same. Thank you. Dean, as an Aussie, I can confirm Australia is on fire. How do you do, bowl of fruit? Bill Cage says 2020 has been okay. Thank you, moniker handle. All right, now don't just if anyone wants to get a topic up and running, don't just mention it. Provide an argument. Provide your point of view on a particular topic. And please don't ask me what my opinion of Star Wars is. Oh, somebody mentioned Ricky Gervais. Yeah, I saw. How many of us saw him host the what the hell? The Golden Globes. Wasn't the first time, but it might be the last. Oh yeah, Reza is asking, is there a video tonight or are we just talking? We're just talking. And thank you for asking. Usually there is a new video to show, but tonight we're just talking. I missed last Sunday's live stream because I had a head cold. And now my stomach's bothering me. It's going to be a rough winter. If I don't sound as energetic or as animated as I usually are, I'm sorry. I'm not making excuses. I'm just a little... Yeah, it's winter. Okay, now here is a point of view that somebody is providing, an argument someone's providing regarding the U.S. airstrike, the recent U.S. airstrike against Iran's top general. And I would really appreciate it if somebody in this stream could spell out his name in the stream so I could read it. Because last time I tried to say his name, I accidentally said salami. And I want to try to be professional, given that I have an audience, no matter how small it is. So the argument was made by I don't know how to pronounce that. He or she says Trump is using the conflict with Iran to try to maintain power. Now, what do we think? What do we think about that? Do we think that's true? And if we do think it's true, how does that work? How is it that a president is more likely to maintain power if they start a war? In general, not just regarding Trump. Gecko maniac. Let's see. I don't get jokes. Said, type the lyrics to a song, which I think is by... What's his name? Dreg? Okay. Now here's an argument by... Or no, it's not. It's a question by Justin Bell. Talk about whether it is reasonable to make serious foreign policy decisions without providing evidence to the public as to the necessity. Now, I hope that this is not a controversial opinion. If the president, it doesn't matter who the president is, if the president kills anybody, especially the top general of a country, and claims that it was to prevent an attack, then evidence should be provided. Again, I don't care who the president is. It seems reasonable that if something like that is going to take place, that the evidence be provided as to why it was necessary. I haven't seen it yet. I hope I missed it because I hope it's out there. Bill Cage thinks that Trump is going to lose the election. Who knows, man? Who knows? There we go. Thank you guys for spelling his name out. Soleimani. There we go. General Pizza Salami. Simon argues, it seems that the elites of the world are hogging up resources and not recognizing environmental externalities, while simultaneously creating a controlling opposing news to keep us divided and hate. Okay, it seems like a really broad general point, but I'll take it. It's not really focused on anything, but I'll take it. Elites equals bad. Or something like that. Hey, Serenity Wilson. Oh, Troger thinks, when I said small audience, he says, bruh, you got 250,000 subs. I know, man, I know, but right now only 165 are here, so that's what I meant. 167. But you're right. You're right. The number of subscribers is nothing to sneeze at. Someone argues nobody wants to change presidents during a war. It's a long-known political tactic. Oh, okay. Oh, Ryan asks, how are you? I am fine. I'm not quite 100% today, but it's winter. And almost everybody I know has got a touch of something. Oh, Morocco, you have to go already? I'm sorry to hear that. Well, all right, everybody say goodbye to Morocco, who knows who he is. And hello, Serenity Wilson. Now, here is an argument by Swanik. He or she says, I think Trump will lose, or loose, as they wrote it, but I know what you meant. And I think the Republicans know it, so if they start a war, then leave it to the Democrats, that might make Republicans get reelected next term. And then they use the emoji that's thinking. Well, so am I. But hey, just because I don't understand something doesn't mean it isn't true. Lev, 165 is a lot of people. Okay, man. You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, hey, here's somebody who's from Iran. It's Reza again. He says, I'm from Iran, and I just can't figure out why the U.S. government is imposing sanctions on the people. He goes on to say, assassinations aside, how would sanctions stop the Iranian government to stop activities? Well, my best guess is that it's just an incentive to stop. Sanctions inhibit the nation's economy. So if you impose them, then the country is, well, they're not forced into a corner necessarily, but they have to choose. Are they going to keep doing what they're doing, or are they going to play ball with the United States to release the sanctions and strengthen their economy again? Again, that's a very unprofessional opinion. Hopefully I understood everything I just said. And if there's anyone else who has a thought on that, let me know. Oh, I forgot to mention. I mention this every live stream, and I forgot to mention it today. Anyone who comments in the super chat is guaranteed a reply. I think that's written in the description down below, but it's worth mentioning it anyway. Is water wet? Don't get me started. O'Miller says he watched one of the previous videos about the existence of God and would like to start that discussion. All right, well, best of luck to you. I'll keep my eye out for you, O'Miller, if you have anything to say about it. Chances are most people will stay on Iran, but who knows? We can talk about anything. We can jump from topic to topic. And I apologize again if I sound a little deflated or unenergetic. I don't have all my energy today. But I didn't want to miss another live stream. Serenity Wilson asks, have sanctions ever been known to work? Good question. Well, we have to define what we mean by work. If a sanction working means that a country stops doing something immediately, then they don't typically work. But there's an argument to be made that that's supposed to be a long-term deterrent. I don't know. For what I understand about the sanctions on Iran, there's so many by now that any more would be almost inconsequential. Oh, Justin argues that sanctions are supposed to affect the people, so the people overthrow the government. Ah. I wonder then, let's produce a list of how many times, if that's the criteria, then I wonder how many times sanctions have quote-unquote worked. Oh, here's a controversial opinion. This is from Wolfosaurus. The U.S. imperial system is better than the metric system. Whoa! The metric system is base 10, whereas the imperial system is base 12. 12 obviously a lots more factors, making it basic arithmetic far easier. Would love to see a counter-argument to that. Let's see. Sango Productions says this year has been pretty good. We're off to a good start. The progressives have peaked in power and influence. Well, you don't want to jump the gun, do you, Sango? You cannot be sure. Unless, which country are you talking about? Already in Britain, he goes on to say, the progressive parties have been completely ousted. All right, well, if you want to make that argument regarding Britain, I can see where you're coming from. Pun intended. Yes, I can see where you're coming from. But you can't be so sure in the United States. At least I can. I don't know what's going to happen. According to some polls, Bernie's coming out in the lead for the Democratic nomination. You know, the Democratic nomination, which is not the general election. Regardless, if it comes down to Bernie, regardless of who wins, I cannot wait to see a debate between Bernie and Trump. Personally, I was hoping to see that in 2016, didn't get it. So if I get it this time around, I'd be a happy camper. And that's regardless of who wins. Regardless. Here's a response to Serenity Wilson from Gecko Maniac. You can have an opinion without making a decision. Also, I would argue that any U.S. citizen has a saying through his votes. Hear, hear. I don't think I don't know. I can't remember what exactly he might have been responding to, but I like the way that looked on its face. Does anyone feel like earlier Disney princesses were problematic? This is from Dragon Girl. I know there are people on both sides. I believe they are great role models. All right. Older Disney princesses being problematic. Well, I've heard a few arguments regarding that. Especially considering Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Does that count as an old Disney princess? I mean, I guess the early 90s were a little while ago, but Disney's been around since the 30s. But we've all heard the arguments regarding Belle from Beauty and the Beast and Stockholm Syndrome. And then there's the politics surrounding Sleeping Beauty. Oh, and the Little Mermaid, who can't speak when she gets her legs. For some reason. I do wonder if it's worth taking any of this seriously. The character traits of characters in fairy tales. Were they meant to be political? Should we make them political? I'm not convinced, but it is an open question. Now, here is a comment from Negev. How do you pronounce that? Negev? I don't know. However you pronounce this person's name, they say Trump and Iran made a deal. Iran shot down a Ukrainian plane that carried important officials relevant to impeachment and got to look tough. Win-win. Is that true? Were there officials on that plane that were relevant to the impeachment? First I've heard about that. I don't want to comment any further. Oh, here's a rebuttal regarding the metric system. As an American, I think the metric system is better because everything is divisible by 10, and the metric system is already being used in American science. Aha, well. Here's a question from, oh boy. I hate it. I know I kind of kid around a bit about it, but I really don't like it when I don't know how to pronounce somebody's name. Sunil? I hope one of those was correct. He says, I'm a big fan of your 12 Angry Men series. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I really enjoyed making those. So I'm so glad that you like them. Any other films you would consider covering similarly? I haven't asked this question so many times, and I don't mind. I always have the same answer. It's a good question because I enjoyed making the 12 Angry Men series a lot, and a lot of people enjoyed watching it, and that's why I get this question a lot. Would I ever make another series analyzing another film? I guess I could, but the reason why I made the 12 Angry Men series was to make universal points. To make general points. You guys know, if any of you have seen the 12 Angry Men series, the points I make are very general. They have to do with the best ways to form an argument, the best ways to communicate with other people, when to contest an argument, when not to. All of the points that were made in the 12 Angry Men series were general. They were universal. They apply to any they apply to any sort of conversation you'll ever have. So if I did that again, if I analyzed another film, I would probably end up making the same points all over again. Now, maybe nobody would mind that. For all I know, nobody would care. People might be happy to hear me make the same observations just in a different film. I guess that would be worth it, but that's what would happen. I would just end up making the same points all over again, just using a different film as an example. And personally, I can't think of another film that would be better to pick apart than 12 Angry Men. That film is a masterpiece. There are a lot of other good films out there, but when it comes to analyzing a film to study the best ways of arguing and reasoning and appealing to people's best instincts, can you think of a better film than 12 Angry Men to do that? I cannot. And that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I can't think of it. And even if I could, like I said, I would probably just make the same points over again. But it's a good question, and I always like it when people ask me that because it means that they really liked it and they want to see more of it. I don't know if it's worth making more of it, but regardless, I'm just beyond glad that people like that so much. So thanks for the question, Sunil. I know that's wrong. I'm sorry I don't know how to pronounce your name. Thank you very much for that question. I'm going to read one more argument about the imperial versus metric system argument. Someone says the imperial system has a base of 12, but that base is inconsistent. The metric system has consistent units at every 1,000 times order of magnitude, while the imperial uses random multiplications of 12. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to get involved in that debate, and it's a lively debate. I'll bet. I wouldn't put it past anyone if people who participate in the metric versus imperial debate are very passionate. But I'm not getting involved any further. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. Oh, here's a question. What about analyzing a movie you really just love just for analyzing it? Unrelated to arguing. You guys want to know a fun fact? Before I started this channel, before I started Counter Arguments, I had a movie review channel. I mean, I've been doing YouTube for a decade now. I've had multiple channels before this one. It's just that none of them were ever took off. They never found an audience. I used to have a movie review channel where I was on camera, believe it or not. I was on camera and I made like 5-minute movie review videos. And then I decided to stop doing it. And when I decided to stop doing it, I just took the channel down because the internet is a weird place. And I don't want my work sitting around on YouTube if I'm not actually actively promoting it or hoping to, be known for it. So it's not on YouTube anymore. But if it was, or if you, excuse me, I meant to say if you saw it when it was up, then you would have known what I look like. Oh God, somebody wants my opinion on veganism. I don't really have one, and I'm sorry that I don't have more to say than that, but I just don't. I have to, it's tough, you just have to care about something to have an opinion, and when it comes to veganism, I am just too apathetic. Or let me try that again. Indifferent. I'm just indifferent. Oh, I almost missed a question in the super chat. That's not good. Mr. Bacon. Great name. Mr. Bacon says, I've tried to talk to a lot of stubborn people in my school and try to explain a thought or an idea without being interrupted. How do I approach this? Well, Mr. Bacon, if you're getting interrupted, there's not much you can do about that. You kind of just have to hang in there, and when the other person finishes, you try to start up again. You really have to pick your battles. If you're having a conversation with somebody who's not listening to you, they cut you off every time you're in the middle of a sentence, it might not be what you want to hear, but the best advice I can give you would be to just end the conversation. Just tell the other person, listen, you're not listening to me. Every time I get halfway through a thought, you cut it off. So I don't want to talk to you anymore. Have a nice day. Again, that's not what you want to hear if you actually want to get through to that person, but you can't just you can. I mean, you can't get through to everybody. Some people don't want to listen to what other people have to say. What are you going to do? Jump on top of them, tie them down, and duct tape their mouth? And if you do, don't tell the police that it was my idea, because I don't want you to do that. It's not worth it. It's probably not going to work anyway. So that's my best advice. I see there's a little debate going on regarding impeachment, which is not surprising. And I noticed here that someone going by the name of Sir Papa Big Fudge, which is not the first time I've read that name out loud, is explaining what would need to happen in the Senate for President Trump to be impeached. A supermajority, 2/3 vote, is required for impeachment in the Senate. It would be mad for someone to blow up a plane because they thought they would be impeached while their party held Senate majority. Yeah, I see that point. Let's see here. Oh, here's someone recommending another movie that I could possibly analyze, called A Serious Man. Did I read that right? Yeah, A Serious Man. All right, I'll make a note of that. I'm literally going to write it down right now on a Post-it note. Can you believe it? I really do have a pile of Post-it notes on my desk. And it's for just such an occasion. Thank you for that. Who recommended that? Alex. Thank you, Alex. Sunil again. Sunil. Thanks for your reply, and you got my name okay too. Thank God. Thank goodness. Thanks for letting me know, man. And you're welcome for the reply. I'll say it again for anyone who doesn't know. Anyone who comments in the super chat is guaranteed a reply. So technically, man, you don't have to thank me for that. You were entitled to it. But you're welcome all the same. Dibby says love you. I love you too, Dibby. Oh, someone else recommended Blade Runner. Gabrielle asks, do you play chess? Yes, but not often. Not nearly as much as I'd like to. Ordinarily, I'll just play a computer. Here's someone saying Neil Peart died this year already. Sucks. Yeah. I mentioned that at the top of the stream. That really sucks. I really admired Neil Peart, not just because he was an excellent musician, but because I played the drums as a kid. And he was probably the most influential drummer for me. And it's no wonder. The guy had a kit that completely surrounded him. Rush songs are like 4, 5, 6 minutes long. And he had such an intricate technique. Nowadays, the 2000s, in the 21st century, dying at 67 is a little too soon. 67's not long enough. Even if Rush never performed again, he still should have gotten another 20 years or so. It's a shame. It's just a shame. Well, now, here's a question from DS. How about analyzing different themes from different movies in a similar format to your 12 Angry Men series? Well, that sounds like a nice idea. Could you provide some examples of different themes? Like provide the name of a movie and the theme that I would analyze? Because I would have, if it's on this channel, it would have to be relevant to arguing. I don't think it would make sense if I reviewed a movie just to talk about like the symbolism of romance or God or something like that if it didn't have anything to do with arguing. You know? Or if I analyzed some movie and explained why it beautifully demonstrates the plight of the working man. Like motion pictures are probably my favorite type of art form, and one of the reasons why is because you can pick them to pieces. You can talk about a movie, a good movie, forever. You can analyze a good film until the cows come home. But if I did it on this channel, it would have to be somehow relevant to arguing and debating, because that's the brand of this channel. So I wonder what other movies that I could analyze that would fit on this channel. Aw, Dibby asks, how much do you love me? Dibby, I love you to the moon and back. Indio asks, what did I miss? Well, we've been going for over a half an hour, so you missed a little bit, but we're not talking about any particular topic. We're just talking about anything that's happened so far in the year 2020. There's no particular topic of this stream. Now, here's a comment from, of all people, get this. Here's a comment from someone going by the name of Stop Arguing. Brother, did you come to the right place? Stop Arguing says, we started 2020 guns a-blazing, so to speak, with the Iran stuff, but so far, so good. I find it funny, he goes on to say, I find it funny / coincidental that it happened practically as soon as Trump was impeached. Yeah, it could just be a coincidence. People don't like coincidences, though, because coincidences don't really explain anything. But it could have just been a coincidence. Oh, Jimmy John, how about analyzing Catch 22 on Hulu about the definition of a Catch 22? Okay. Is that a movie? I feel like I should know about that already. I know what a Catch 22 is, but if you're referring to a movie, I don't think I've heard of it. Oh, here's some. You can make a new channel about off-topic stuff and call it Pennsylvania Station. Make a YouTube channel and call the channel Pennsylvania Station. That's funny. Where I just talk about anything. You know, Pennsylvania Station sounds like a half-decent name for a YouTube channel. It kind of sounds like a halfway decent name for like a clothing brand too, or a restaurant or something like that. I don't know. There's just something elegant about it. Well, here's a question. Someone says, I'm pretty sure this was asked before, but does anyone know what counter arguments, that's me, said about making a video on reclaiming slur words? With a counter argument for or against them. Did I ever say I was going to do that? That doesn't ring a bell. A video about reclaiming a slur. That doesn't sound like me. It doesn't mean I didn't say it. If I said I was going to do that in the past, then I just can't remember it. But with that being said, I don't remember saying that. I mean, that's a really touchy subject right there, and it's almost guaranteed to get demonetized if I did make it. So, for that reason alone, I don't think I would. Just because I've been trying to play it safer on YouTube lately. I've been trying to make videos about topics that are not likely to get demonetized. Because 2019 was a little bumpy. There was a video about sex strikes which got demonetized, which is not surprising at all. But there was another video. The video about privilege got demonetized, and that really stunk. The video about social media got demonetized, and the video about leaving interviews got age restricted, which is just weird. It was not demonetized, but it was age restricted. It's about interviews, for crying out loud. So I've been trying to play it safe lately. I do not think I'm going to make a video about slurs for any reason about anything related. Let's see here. What is the importance of art in general? Wow. That is a great question. I don't think I'm going to do it justice. It also seems like the kind of question that you want to leave for people to answer for themselves. Oh boy. Someone's talking about the movie God's Not Dead. Make a train station and call it YouTube. Here's someone else from Australia, freelance opportunist. They say, I live in Australia, so that's how my 2020 is going. Oh, man, I am just sorry. I'm sorry. It's devastating what's going on in Australia. Jay, man, I'm not sure how to pronounce the rest of that, but I'll just call you Jay. Jay says Pennsylvania Station is my favorite video of yours. Well, thank you, Jay. Thank you. I certainly don't like saying on the record which video is my favorite. Because I can. I really do have, of all the videos on this channel, I do have multiple quote-unquote favorites. But, Pennsylvania Station was definitely one of them. Even though it didn't really fit on this channel, I tried to make it fit because I really wanted to just make that video. And I know even if it doesn't really belong on this channel, I had 250,000 subscribers. I couldn't help it. If there was something that seemed interesting and important to you, and you had a quarter million people sitting around waiting for you to upload something, heck. So I'm really glad. I'm beyond glad that you guys liked that video. 2019 was pretty good for this channel, I suppose. I know it's not really my place to say. It's really for the audience to say. But the year began with the 12 Angry Men series, and it ended... It kind of sort of ended with Pennsylvania Station. There were a couple videos after that, but, you know. I uploaded the 12 Angry Men series in January, and I uploaded Pennsylvania Station in December. So that gives... Those two projects bracketed the year pretty well for me, and made it a good year. Again, it's not really my place to say. I should really leave it to you guys to decide how good the channel is. But I was really satisfied with those videos. Oh crap, I missed a super chat? Justin Bell says I missed a super chat. Crap. Where did I did. Oh, this is so stupid. I hate it when that happens. Oh, and I noticed here that Gecko Maniac just said a bunch of post-it notes with exclamation points. That's cool. Okay, Dragon Girl. Oh, Dragon Girl. I'm sorry I missed your super chat. Here it is. Mambakanda. What? Mambakanda cultural appropriation versus appreciation. Dragon Girl, I'm guessing you're promoting a comment in the pleb chat by Mambakanda. I don't know what cultural appropriation versus appreciation. Do you want me to talk about my thoughts on that? Because that's a very heavy topic, and the best I can do is scratch the surface. Personally, I would like to think there is I know there's a difference between the two. Some people don't think that cultural appropriation is even a valid concept. I think it is, but I also think it's often misdiagnosed, and it's hard to get. It's going to be difficult for me to get into it because I have to provide examples, and I can't really think of any off the top of my head. What I'll say is that I think the concept of culture of someone's culture, well, not the whole culture, but aspects of the culture being appropriated, which is kind of a figurative use of the word anyway. I think that's a valid concept, but I think that a lot of the examples, a lot of instances that people claim are examples of cultural appropriation, don't quite fit the concept. And I know that's a very lackluster answer because I do have to provide examples to illustrate my point. And not only can I not think of any, I can't be sure that all of you will know an example that I cite. But I had to say something because all comments in the super chat are guaranteed a reply. And Dragon Girl, I thank you, and Mamba Kanda thanks you for promoting his or her comment. And thank you Justin for letting me know that I missed a super chat. Thank you very much. Here is a, let's see. Hey mate, big fan. Out of curiosity, do you have knowledge of the debate surrounding Scottish independence from the UK? Not really. From what I understand, apparently most people in Scotland want to stay in the EU, and most people in England want out. So, and since Scotland's part of the United Kingdom, they have to leave the EU because they're part of the United Kingdom, and they're not happy about that. Who's this? Chris is ATM. He goes on to say, if so, would you ever be interested in divulging into it? Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Chris. I don't know. I don't know if I Not sure if I really want to make a video about Scotland trying to leave the EU, because I don't really find that fascinating. I like arguments that anybody can, that everybody will feel like they have some sort of stake in. You know what I mean? I like arguments about the existence of God, or what certain words mean, or when it's best. Well, cultural appropriation, for instance. That's another example of a topic that everybody can feel like they have some sort of stake in, and that it's relevant to them. The differences between generations, certain protest tactics, things concerning history, things like that. Those are topics that everybody can feel. I like them because I think everybody can approach those topics and feel like they have some stake in them. If I made a video about Scotland trying to leave the United Kingdom, I don't think that's really going to matter so much to anybody who's not in the United Kingdom. And that includes me. Right off the bat, I'm not really, I don't feel like I have any stake in it. It is important. It's a significant story. I'm very interested to see how it progresses, but that's all. I'll just keep an eye on it. I don't think I'll make a video about it. On that note, here's another question. Can you do a video on American education reform? Again, if I made a video on that, I don't think it would matter to anybody who lived outside of the United States of America. It's another important topic. And it's another topic that people should be educated on. And I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't think I'll make a video about it. Excuse me. Jack Black is here. Who knew? Jack Black says, by YouTube's guidelines, anything about an argument will get you demonetized. Yeah. Well, I see your point, Jack Black. Thankfully, that's not literally true. Most of the videos on this channel are monetized. And they all have something to do with an argument. So, fortunately, that's not true, but I do share your sentiment. You should counter-argue, just enjoy the movie. And the notion that movie critique isn't worth much in the big picture. I don't know. That's just an opinion. How do you argue against counter-argue, just enjoy the movie? Well, I guess I would just say that movies are very important culturally and societally, and on an individual basis, emotionally. So if something's important, let's talk about it. I mean, that's a little half-baked, but that's what you get when you ask me out on the fly. I like the question, and that's why I answered it, or at least tried to. Oh, there's an argument going on about capitalism and liberalism. Or excuse me, did I read that right? Yeah. Oh, classical liberalism. Bum bum bum. Let's see. This stream has been going now for almost 50 minutes. Let's have it go at least an hour, as we always do. Maybe an hour 10, hour 15. We'll see. Oh, have you seen the Before Sunrise, Sunset, Midnight trilogy? No, I haven't, but I have heard of it. And it looks incredible. I should say they look incredible. Gecko Maniac. They are some of my favorite movies of all time in pure conversation. I think there's a lot to discuss about relationships and marriage. Oh my god, Justin Bell, did I miss another super chat, or are you just kidding around? Or did I already read you? Say that. Yeah, I already read that. You know, I have to say, I have built this channel up to the size that it currently is. And YouTube channels are very demanding. You can't just start a second and third one and just keep them all chugging along at the same pace. There are only so many hours in the day. And eventually your production just gets cannibalized the more channels you have. This channel sucks a lot of energy and time out of me. But nevertheless, arguing is not the only thing I enjoy doing. I wouldn't mind making videos where I just talk about movies or history. I've already flirted with the idea of making another channel where I just make documentary-like videos, like the Pennsylvania Station video. But I'm very cautious about that because I know that if I did that, if I started a second channel, it doesn't matter what it's about. If I start a second channel about anything, you're going to get fewer videos on this channel. And since this channel's generating revenue, that means less revenue. And so I'm kind of a little reserved about doing that. But the idea of doing it still brings a smile to my face. Jimmy John, the channel's fine. A Pirate says, channel is awesome, my dude. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Here's a question from Red6UA. Do you think gender is a social construct? Capital Y or capital Y not? That's funny. Gender? Well, I've been told that gender and sex are not the same thing. If you buy that, then I guess you could get away with saying it's a social construct. Because I guess if you buy that, if gender and sex are different, then I guess you could make the argument that sex is based on biology and gender is based more on culture and conditioning and psychology and all that. I really don't have much of a dog in this fight, so I believe what you just heard are all of my thoughts on this particular topic. It's not a lot, is it? No, it's not. But I do believe that's as far as my process of thought goes. Yeah, I mean, to the second question of why or why not, I don't know, man. I don't make the rules. Does gender need to be a social construct? Who's to say? Seem like academic types would be the ones to come up with that idea. And I don't really want to stand in their way. If it's no skin off my nose, If it's no skin off my nose, I don't feel like getting that worked up about it. Hey, Arbitrary Renaissance. Yeah, here's a very common joke whenever people talk about gender. Who said this? This is someone named Keith says, I identify as an attack helicopter, and I am offended. But Thank you, Loki Bless. That was very nice of you to say. Red6UA says I missed a super chat. Did I? Yes, I did. You know, I think I understand why this keeps happening. I'm not actually looking at the comments that are flowing through live right now. I'm just scrolling down trying to get back to the bottom. And I don't know if you guys... I mean, you guys can... You can try this out if you'd like to. If you scroll up through the chat to look at what people have said a couple of minutes ago, I don't know if this is going to happen for you, but for me, when I scroll up through the chat to see previous comments and such, it will automatically jump to the bottom, which is really annoying. Out of nowhere, it'll just go doot and move me all the way to the bottom, and I'll miss everything between where I was and where I end up. That's why I keep missing these super chats. I'm just going to read them now. Here's Victor. Victor says the EU said there were U.S. casualties in Iraq. The U.S. denies it. Oh, okay. I don't really know how to respond to that. EU said there were U.S. casualties. U.S. denies it. Okay, well, that's either true or false. I don't really have anything to add to that other than that. But thank you, Victor. Thank you for commenting. Let's see. Tom Groebe. One of those has got to be right. I'll just call you Tom. Tom says, I find many counter arguments to UBI, and that's universal basic income for those who don't know. Tom says, I find many counter arguments to UBI to be flawed, not fully thought out, / disingenuous. Also, Yang 2020. Well, who saw that coming? For those of you who don't know, UBI stands for Universal Basic Income, and the idea of it is that everybody in the country gets a certain number of dollars every month. Yeah, I think it's every month. Andrew Yang, running for the Democratic nomination, he's proposed $1,000 a month to each and every American citizen, UBI. Now, Tom, you didn't mention any arguments that you consider flawed or disingenuous. You just said that you find many of them to be that way, which is okay. But I don't know. I'm not really sure how to respond to that without an example being cited. Nevertheless, your $5 did give Andrew Yang a little bit more promotion, and I'm sure you'll settle for that. I mean, not like he needs it. Andrew Yang has got to be the most... He seems to be the most beloved candidate online. And I know everyone is online, but people who are fans of Andrew Yang, they get hashtags started, man. They show up in chats. The Yang Gang is everywhere. Every candidate's got their own momentum, I guess, but most of Andrew Yang's is on social media. That's just been my experience. Oh, here's an argument. Here's I suppose, a counter argument to the comment I read earlier about, is gender a social construct? Someone named Chris in the house says everything is a social construct, and that doesn't mean it doesn't have value. There you go. There's your rebuttal. To anyone who thinks that gender being a social construct means that it doesn't have value or is not sensible or anything like that. And I read that because I know I didn't have much of an opinion myself, so I just wanted to get a couple of other voices in the chat out there who do have stronger opinions than I do about it. Now here's Sunil again. Sunil, who says instead of United States education reform, you could more broadly analyze the various educational systems around the world. Have any of you seen the movie American Pie? Because I'm gonna borrow a line from Stifler. I don't know, man. That sounds like a lot of work. Broadly analyze the various educational systems around the world, such as the United States versus the UK versus Montessori, etc. Yeah, okay. That's not a bad idea. If I don't want to do it because I don't feel like researching education systems around the world to either argue against them or in favor of them, that would be why I didn't make it. If a topic just doesn't interest me, I just can't get the wheels turning or the gears turning or however that goes. Whatever I make a video about has to be interesting to me personally, unfortunately, because not everything interests me. And that's a shame for you, because that means there are certain topics you're just not going to see on this channel because they don't do anything for me. That might be one of them. It doesn't mean that it's not an important topic, and it certainly doesn't mean that nobody should make a video about it. I, for one, am at least curious to learn more about the education system in the UK, for instance. So I'd be glad to watch a video that somebody else makes about it. Anyway, those were my thoughts. Thank you, Sunil. Let's see. Ali says, my favorite movie of all time is Inside Llewyn Davis. Now, that was a good movie. It was a Coen Brothers movie, so I can't claim that I completely understood it, but it was a good movie. All right, guys, we've been going for about an hour now. And we should never go for any less than that. But sorry, I just read something funny. But now that we have gone for an hour, we're probably going to wrap this up in a little bit. Oh, let me address this. The big winner says you sound worried about the future with a G. Fugger. It's okay. I understand what they meant. Big winner says you sound worried about the future of your channel. Not really, Big winner. I mean, YouTube is such a tumultuous environment. You know, people. What's a popular figure of speech or analogy? Empires rise and fall, or kings rise and fall, or whatever. But basically, what I'm saying is that on YouTube, people get popular and they lose it quickly. People come here for various different reasons. Some just for fun, some to just make some money on the side, others to start a business, and others to get insanely rich. Channels can be popular and then they get old. Sometimes the content creator's well dries up. New channels pop up all the time. They grow. People subscribe to them, unsubscribe from others. It's a really rocky and unpredictable and chaotic environment. So I guess anyone who's in their right mind should constantly worry about their YouTube channel, but in a good way, in a constructive way. You know, not just in an anxious way. And I hope I haven't given that impression. I'm not really worried about the future of this channel. I recognize that YouTube is a stressful place to try to build something and maintain it consistently. But I also believe that it can be done, and it has been done. So I'm sorry if I've given you the impression that I'm worried about the future of anything, really. Serenity Wilson. Serenity Wilson says, I'll research the education systems if you do the vid. Wow, how can I turn that down? Okay, Serenity Wilson. Hey, I'm not going to stop you. If you want to do research on various education systems and send me the information summarized and or a possible first draft for a script, I'm not going to stop you. Go for it. And and if you really did want to do that, then I'd be curious to see what you come up with. But you'll only do it if I make the vid. I can't make any guarantees. I just don't know. I do hope I make it look easy, but making the videos on this channel is really not. Trying to put something together that's both reasonable and entertaining. I mean, those two, being reasonable and being entertaining, do not go hand in hand. Most of the time, one comes at the expense of the other. I repeat, when it comes to being reasonable and entertaining, they do not go hand in hand. Most of the time, one comes at the expense of the other. But what I will say, Serenity Wilson, is that if you did want to, for your own sake, do research on any topic and then summarize what you learn and send it to me, I would appreciate it no matter what it was for or whether it resulted in a video. It's very nice of you to offer to do that under any conditions. Stop Arguing asks, are you feeling better from last week? Yes, I am, and thank you for asking. Thank you very much for asking, Stop Arguing. For anyone who doesn't know, there's supposed to be a live stream on this channel every Sunday, and there wasn't one last Sunday because I was a little sick. I had a head cold. It wasn't just that I didn't have my energy. I was stuffy. So I didn't really want to talk into a microphone. I didn't really want to come on here to talk to you guys sounding like this. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather right now. You guys don't want to hear that. I thought I would sound like I actually had a cold if I did that, and I didn't. I just sounded like I was pinching my nose. SpongeBob. All right, enough of that. Thanks again, Serenity Wilson. Here, I love it when this happens. Neandra, I cannot get enough of this. I really cannot. Neandra, in the super chat, didn't say anything. Just sent an animated emoji of a pear with a headband on, saying, "How's it going?" I love that stuff. I'm such a dork for that stuff. I know you can't see it, but I just have a big smile on my face right now. How's it going? It's going well, Neandra. It's certainly going well now that you sent that to me in the super chat. That thing is adorable. Aww. I just love that stuff. Thank you, Neandra. Thank you so much. That's a really good Squidward impression. Well, thank you. I swear to God, all I did was pinch my nose. That's all I did. And of course, I try to talk like someone who's not enthused. SpongeBob. But can I do an impersonation of Squidward doing an impersonation of Squidward? I'm Squidward. Squidward. Man, I gotta watch those episodes again. Neandra, I'm waving right back at you. Stop Arguing said, glad you're doing well. Thank you very much. I'm glad to say I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. All right, guys, let's see if we can put a bow on this, because after this stream, there's a members-only live stream. But for those of you who are members, you already know this. After this stream ends, there'll be like a 5-minute break where I'll go and get something else to drink. Water, not a drink, but some, a little water, or iced tea, I guess, and a snack. And then we'll get the members-only stream fired up. And that'll be after this. So, if there are any last questions you have, or comments, or arguments, or anything that's happened so far this year that you'd like to bring up, now's the time to do it. I've got my eye on the chat. If you type something now, I'm going to see it. And if it jumps out at me, I'll read it. See what you can do. Don't say goodbye yet. We're not done yet. We're going to go for another 5, maybe 10 minutes or so. But we're going to start wrapping up right now. That Squidward was incredible. Thank you, Bob. Squidward sounded like SpongeBob impression of Squidward. Really? Hello, I'm Squidward. Can you do a video on American education? Didn't I already read this? Oh, it's a little different. Pros and cons of public school, democratic free schools, homeschooling, this public school. It's certainly a fascinating topic. I'm not sure if I could find a way to make an argument for or against different types of education in a way which is impartial. Then maybe, but I don't know how I would. Vanilla or Rocky Road? That's tough. Should you understand epistemology in order to more easily grasp scientific arguments? Couldn't hurt. What's your opinion on God's Not Dead? How do I say this? I think I gotta get this right. What is my opinion of God's Not Dead? I think Christians overestimate how much people who don't believe in God care. I know public figures who are atheists are very outspoken, but if there's a college professor out there who doesn't believe in God, the notion that he cares so much about him not believing in God that he would force other people to write down that they don't believe in God either, I think that's giving them a little too much credit. And I think that's what these Christian films typically tend to do. They give atheists and non-believers too much credit. They depict them as if they are militantly trying to deconvert people. And the end result is inadvertently funny. Also, even if someone did do that, if a college professor really did do that, if a college professor told all of his students to write down that God is dead on a piece of paper, that is wildly unethical. So I think at least we can agree on that. Whether you believe in God or not, if a college professor demanded his or her students renounce their faith in God, that is wildly unethical. And regardless of what you believe, I think we can all say that that is inappropriate. The question is, would that or has that ever friggin' happened? And I think the answer to that question is no. A lot of these atheists in these Christian films come across like boogeymen. They're not. I don't think anyone has ever done the sort of shenanigans that they've actually done in these movies. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a scene from a was it a God's Not Dead sequel or I don't know. I saw a scene in a Christian film where it was just the whole world was ending. It was apocalyptic, and some guy who had a machine gun said that was I don't know, somehow losing his faith in God, but also blaming God for everything going wrong at the same time, which doesn't make sense. And he literally pointed his machine gun at the sky and started firing rounds straight up. Now, again, if Christians want to voice their arguments against non-believers, I, of all people, am completely in favor of that. If you're a Christian and you want to challenge people who don't believe in God, I'm all for that, in theory. In practice, however, you have to actually understand where they're coming from. Because if all you do is just create a caricature of a non-believer and challenge that, then you're just wasting your time. Ooh, vanilla or chocolate? I don't know. Vanilla if there was chocolate icing. How about that? I don't think I could just do vanilla by itself. Or if I could have both. If it was soft served and I could swirl it together, that would be great. Oh, I love that. Is there anyone else here who likes to blend vanilla and chocolate when it's soft served? I wonder, I tried to make it brief, but I just went on a mini spiel about Christian films. I wonder what you guys think about what I just said now. How far back do I have to go? I'm a little lost now. Oh, here's a good question. Do you ever get sick of your own voice? I'm not sick of yours, but curious. Well, I don't get sick of the sound of my own voice, but at the same time, I don't really like listening to it. Nobody likes the sound of their own voice. I try to make it as presentable and as, as good, quote unquote, as I can, but nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Whenever I have to record my voice and then edit it and all that, I never like that. That's always my least favorite part of the project. But I have to do it. So I do it. But I don't like it because nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Good question. Oh, here we go. Here are the comments people were saying about my thoughts on God's Not Dead. Somebody said, except for our atheism, most atheists are like at least 5% agnostic. Gecko Maniac says it's impossible to prove that God does not exist, which is correct. Someone going by the name of Dirty Donkey commented saying, wait, what? You go live? I'm guessing this is the first live stream you've tuned into on this channel, Dirty Donkey. Welcome. And, yeah, wow, didn't realize you streamed. Just recently gotten into the video. Oh, okay, you've just found the channel recently. Oh, welcome, Dirty Donkey. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to say Dirty Donkey. And thanks for filling him in, Neandra. Yeah. I tried to wrap this up by saying whatever questions you like to ask, say them now. In hindsight, I just guaranteed that this stream was going to last a lot longer because you guys are asking a lot of good questions. Here's a question from Stephen Thompson. What would make a good Christian film about believers versus atheists? Well, to give a short and sweet answer to that question, because it's a good question, especially given everything that I just said about God's Not Dead, the movie, and Christian movies in general. Just to give a short and sweet answer, I think a good Christian film would get off on the right foot if an atheist or multiple atheists were collaborating with the project, which is a lot easier said than done, I'm sure. I don't know what atheist filmmaker would want to contribute to a film that advocates a religion, but at least in concept, I think that would be a good place to start, is to actually have an atheist in the writer's room or communicating with the screenwriter or screenwriters. Just to sort of make sure they're flying straight, if the person writing the screenplay depicts an atheist inaccurately, and there's an atheist there to say so, well, then maybe we can avoid a pothole here and there. At the end of the day, the film is still going to advocate for Christianity and Christ, accepting Christ as your savior, but if you want to at least just make sure you're depicting the other side correctly, that might be worth it. Arbitrary Renaissance. Oh, Arby, that's a good one. Arby quoted me saying, vanilla with chocolate icing. Close quote. God, you're such a centrist. And then he said he's kidding, but which I figured. That was really funny. Serenity Wilson. My favorite is the mixed soft serve dip with butterscotch. God. Now I have to end the stream because you guys are making me hungry. I got to get some ice cream. Blending with Captain Frantic. Blending vanilla and chocolate? That's crazy talk. Check this out. Here's a comment from Matthew Roberts. Matthew Roberts says, I'm a Christian, and I think you're right, CA. Christian films are pretty whack most of the time. Yeah. And now look, I know you and I and anyone else could just sit back and point and laugh at them. And I like doing that. I kind of like laughing at these Christian films that seem to miss the mark. But at the same time, I don't really like it that they typically do miss the mark. I mean, look, if you're actually, I would rather see everybody succeed in what they try to do. And if a bunch of Christians want to make a movie that's critical of atheists, I said it already and I'll say it again. That's fine. I think that's great. I mean, at the very least, I could say that I'm happy that we live in a country where you can do that, where different members of different religions, or lack thereof, can critique each other. I think that's great. And so if Christians want to make a movie that's critical of atheism or non-believing, I think that's great. Make that movie. It just stinks when they don't depict the other side accurately or admirably. Because I've got no beef with them actually doing it. I just wish they did it better. What? Oh well. It doesn't really matter much to me. It's just sort of a general point that I wish people would, succeed at what they try to do in general. Is there a debate going on about speciesism? I'm not picking that up. Moniker Handle says, love you, Mr. Counter Arguments. Hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Thank you, Moniker Handle. I hope you do too. This is going to be, I see a lot of people in the chat are communicating with each other, which is okay. I've got nothing against it, really. It does kind of clutter up the chat when I'm trying to find people trying to ask me a question. But I don't want to discourage it. Let's end this stream right now with one last question. And appropriately enough, this question is coming from someone who just discovered that there are live streams on this channel, Dirty Donkey. And no, I'm not reading his question just because I wanted to say Dirty Donkey again. Dirty Donkey, Dirty Donkey. He actually asks a good question, and this is a good note I think this is a pretty good note to end it on. What's your opinion? What's your opinions? What are your opinions, or what's your opinion of cancel culture? Dirty Donkey, I repeat, Dirty Donkey, goes on to say, I personally despise it, but it can bring out good sometimes. Like how everyone tried canceling the live-action Sonic movie. Oh, hey, that's a great example of, well, I don't know. Is that really an example of cancel culture? Was there a hashtag cancel Sonic? If it was, then that's a good example of cancel culture actually working out well. Because, man, he was not animated properly, and then he was. But in general, my thoughts on cancel culture, I don't know. It seems pretty feckless, all things considered. Most of the time, it just doesn't... Not only does it not work, not only does it not destroy the reputation and the career of, or the image of whoever's or whatever's supposed to be canceled, but it usually does. It usually just gives a lot of free publicity and generates a lot of support for the person or the people or the thing that's trying to get canceled. So I just don't think it works. And I don't think that's really surprising. You can't just declare that something is over. Obviously, you can't just pull a group of people together and say, because so and so did X, Y, and Z, that's it. He's toast. Because no one gets to decide that. Nobody, no individual, no group, no organization, nobody gets to decide that something is finished. And just as a very simple example, oh, James, you're here. You're late, man. We're just wrapping this thing up. Just to use a very simple example, President Trump. If you or anyone else was to say he's canceled, which I guess could be another way of saying impeached, I guess. I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head. Or suppose if you were to go back to the election when Trump was running for president and wasn't yet elected. At some point during the race, you could say, cancel Trump. You could do that, but it wouldn't work. He would still have his support. He would still be in the race, and he would still go on to win. So cancel culture to me just seems like posturing. It just seems like a gesture. It's just a way of people expressing that they would like to see something canceled. They would like to see somebody removed from public life, or they would like to see something removed or changed or forgotten. And that's really it. That's really it. It's just people saying we would like to see this thing canceled, but whether or not it will actually result in that, more often than not, it just doesn't. I can't believe people are still talking about ice cream. Oh, what am I saying? I can't believe it. Oh, Neandra, thank you so much. Once again, for those of you, you've got to go into the chat and look at this. Neandra gave me another animated emoji, I guess. Is that what I can get away with calling them? Yeah, Gecko Maniac. There are so many hashtags. Neandra, I love those things. I'm just going to say it over and over and over again. They're so adorable. I'm such a softie for these things. What is that? Like a little fox waving, saying bye-bye? I love that. Thank you, Neandra. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bill Cage said, "Goodbye, everyone. I'll remember you all in therapy." Oh, God, that's funny. Big Alex said, "I wouldn't say that was an example of cancel culture." I think he's referring to Sonic. "I don't think people talked about the bad Sonic, yep, with the explicit intention of seeing a change, so it's not really a cancel movement." Yeah. Oh, Bill Cage, once again. Now, this is great. Hashtag cancel culture. Bam, ba-da-da-da-da. Dum, dum, boom. We can't top that. That's it, man. That's got to be the end of the stream. Bill Cage 32 said hashtag cancel culture. I got to end it on that note. I can't top that. Let's hear it, guys. Hashtag cancel culture. Get it trending. And in all seriousness, guys, I'll see you next week. This is the end of the stream. I'm so glad that all of you guys who did stop by. One more comment. This is from Arbitrary Renaissance. This is good. "There's merit to people saying that they would like seeing things removed, though. Voicing discontent is precisely how we determine the mood of public discourse." Well said, Arbitrary Renaissance. Thank you, Arby. Thank you, Neandra. Thank you, Serenity. Welcome, Dirty Donkey. I'm not just saying that so I can say Dirty Donkey over and over again. I don't need to keep saying Dirty Donkey. It doesn't matter to me. Mash Dash said they loved the Penn Station video. Thank you, Mash Dash. Thank you, Sunil. I'm trying to remember everybody who commented in the super chat, and I am going to forget some names, but that's okay. There you go. Let's get it going. Cancel culture. But in all seriousness, guys, thank you so much for stopping by this channel to participate in this live stream. Sorry to everybody who showed up late, but if you're a member of this channel at the desk level or higher, stick around. Go to the community tab and wait for the members only stream to start. It won't begin right away. It'll start about 5 minutes or so after this stream ends, because I'm going to go get a snack. But I'll be right back. And members, if you are a member of this channel at the desk level or higher, then I'll see you there, and we can keep chit-chatting. As for everybody else, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I know it kind of got off to a discouraging start, but it could get better from here. Oh, God, it's an election year. Maybe it won't. Well, we'll be all right. We'll all be all right. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2020. I hope all of you guys are doing well, and I hope to see all of you back here next Sunday for the next stream. In the meantime, Cancel culture. And take care of yourselves, guys. I hope you're all doing well.